Have you ever felt like you're shouting your offers into the void? You put together a post about your mini sessions or your pricing, and then nothing. No likes, no comments, no bookings. It can make you wonder if people even care. But here's the secret: it's not that your clients don't care. It's that the way you're talking about your offers doesn't connect to what they actually feel. And the truth is, most photographers have this exact problem. They think selling means posting numbers and details, when really it's about helping people see themselves inside the experience. I know that feeling all too well. You spend time writing the caption, choosing images, and polishing the post, hoping it will finally bring in the clients you've been waiting for. And then it just sits there. Maybe your best friend likes it, or another photographer leaves a supportive comment, but the clients you want don't respond. And suddenly, you start second guessing yourself. You wonder if your prices are too high. You think maybe you should throw in more edited images. You even start questioning if anyone really wants what you're offering at all. Here's the truth: your audience does want photos. They care deeply about preserving memories, probably more than you realize. The issue isn't your pricing, and it isn't your packages. The real problem is the way the words are landing. If a post doesn't help your audience picture themselves in the experience, they'll scroll past it in a second. Not because they don't value photography, but because you haven't given them a reason to pause. And that's what we're going to work on today. Because once you learn how to talk about your offers online in a way that makes people stop, imagine and feel something, everything shifts. Selling stops feeling like selling. It starts to feel like guiding, like inviting people into something that was already meant for them. Here's the pattern most photographers fall into. They decide it's time to post about their sessions, so they share a caption that says something like, "Mini sessions, 250, 20 minutes, 10 edited images, booking link in bio." It's short, it's direct, and it feels safe. But here's the problem: that caption is only information, and information alone doesn't move people. Think about the last time you bought something you were genuinely excited about. Maybe it was a new camera lens, maybe it was a vacation, maybe it was something as simple as a pair of shoes you'd been eyeing for months. You didn't buy because of the technical specs or the bullet points. You bought because you could picture yourself using it. You could imagine how it would feel in your life. That's what pushed you to say yes. Your clients are the same way. They're not sitting down with a spreadsheet comparing cost per image. They're not calculating whether 20 minutes is mathematically better than 30. They're asking, does this feel right for me? Can I trust this photographer? Will this experience give me what I'm looking for? That's why those short, factual posts don't work. They don't answer the real questions your clients are asking. They don't connect to the emotions behind the decision. And that's why it feels awkward to post them. It's like walking into a room full of strangers and blurting out, "Hey, I'm selling something. Do you want it?" No wonder it feels uncomfortable. You've skipped over the part where you actually have a conversation. Now let's flip that exact same mini session post. Instead of saying mini sessions, 250, 20 minutes, 10 images, what if you wrote 20 minutes is all it takes to capture the kind of family photos that end up on your holiday cards and your grandma's fridge? These sessions are quick, fun, and designed to get genuine smiles without the stress. Same offer, same details, but suddenly it feels different. It feels warm. It feels like an invitation. And invitations are much easier to say yes to. This is the shift you need to practice. Stop asking yourself, how do I sell this? And start asking, how can I explain this in a way that feels helpful? When you frame it that way, the pressure disappears. You're not trying to push someone. You're simply opening the door. You're saying, here's what this experience could mean for you. I had a client once who told me that the only reason she booked her mini session was because of a single line I had written in a post. I had shared that mini sessions are often the photos that end up printed over and over again. She said she pictured her kids handing her mom a holiday card with that photo, and she realized she didn't want to miss that moment. She had been on the fence for months, telling herself she was too busy, but that one line helped her imagine herself in the story, and that's what pushed her to book. That's the power of using words that connect instead of words that just inform. When you do this, people stop scrolling. They pause. They imagine themselves inside the experience. And when they can see themselves in the story, booking becomes the natural next step. And here's the best part. You can use this exact approach for any kind of session you offer. Newborns, weddings, full family sessions. It works across the board. For newborn sessions, instead of posting studio session, 2 hours, 15 edited images, you might say, "Your newborn will never be this tiny again. These cozy in-studio sessions capture every detail, from tiny toes to sleepy smiles, so you can hold on to them forever. That's the same offer, but one version is flat information and the other version makes someone feel something. For weddings, instead of saying packages start at 3,000 includes 8 hours of coverage, you could write, your wedding day isn't just about posed portraits. It's about the way your mom tears up during the vows, the laughter during speeches, and the first dance you've been practicing in your kitchen. That's what I capture. So when you look back, you don't just see the day, you feel it. See the difference? Both versions are technically true, but only one gives someone a reason to care. Here's what I want you to hold on to as we go through this week. Every offer you have is more than numbers on a page. It's more than the minutes or the files. It's a story waiting to be told. And when you tell that story, clients finally see the value. They see themselves in it. And that's when they say yes. Have you ever felt like you've already said everything there is to say about your sessions? You make one post about minis, maybe another about full sessions, and then you stop because you don't want to sound repetitive. That's one of the biggest mistakes photographers make. Because here's the truth. Most people in your audience didn't see that first post. Social media doesn't work that way. And even if they did see it, chances are they forgot it by the next day. Think about your own behavior online. How many posts do you scroll past every single day? How many times have you seen something, thought it was interesting, and then kept scrolling? Later, when you see it again, it feels like the first time. That's what's happening with your clients too. They're busy, their feeds are full. It usually takes seeing something multiple times before they're ready to take action. This is why consistency matters so much. You might feel like you're repeating yourself, but to your audience, you're finally becoming memorable. When people see you show up again and again, it doesn't make them roll their eyes. It makes them trust you. It signals that you believe in what you do, and trust is what turns someone from a casual follower into a paying client. I once had a client who told me she had been watching my posts for almost a year before booking me. A year. She said she loved my work from the beginning, but she kept putting it off. Life was busy, money was tight, and she wasn't sure if now was the right time. But the reason she finally booked was simple. I kept showing up. I kept reminding her what was possible. And eventually, she said yes. Not because of a single post, but because of a steady stream of reminders that her family's memories mattered. Here's another thing photographers forget. Selling isn't just about getting someone to book a session, it's also about helping them see the bigger picture. When you talk about the value of prints, albums, and tangible photos, you're not just adding an upsell, you're shifting the way people think about photography. I can't tell you how many times I've had families come back years later and say, I'm so glad we ordered that album. Or, my mom still has that framed photo in her living room. Every time we visit, it makes her smile. Those physical pieces become part of a family's history. They outlast phones, they outlast computers, they even outlast us. Digital files are convenient, yes, but prints are what get passed down. Prints are what live on the walls, what kids flip through on the couch, what grandkids discover in a box decades later. When you remind your audience of that truth, you're not being pushy. You're being a guide. You're showing them that photography is more than something to post online. It's something to hold on to. And here's the beauty of this approach. Talking about your offers doesn't have to feel repetitive if you shift the angle. One week, you can focus on the ease of mini sessions for busy families. Another week, you highlight how those same images make perfect gifts. Another week, you share a story about a past client who was nervous at first, but ended up loving their photos. Each post tells the same truth, that your sessions matter, but from a different perspective. Think about a diamond. It's the same stone, but every time you turn it, the light catches a new facet. That's how you should think about your offers. The core doesn't change. The price, the time, the number of images, it's all the same. But the way you talk about it can shift, and each shift shows a new reason why it's valuable. One of my favorite ways to do this is through stories. Let's say you photographed a toddler who refused to smile at first. The parents were nervous, worried that the whole session was going to be a disaster. But by the end, you caught that one laugh, that one grin that became the family's favorite photo of the year. That's a story worth sharing. And when you share it, other parents see themselves in it. They think, oh, my kid is shy too. Maybe we could actually do this. Suddenly, your offer feels safer, more approachable, and more appealing. Or maybe you share about a newborn session where the baby cried for the first half hour, but eventually settled in and you captured the sweetest little yawn. When you tell that story, you're educating potential clients that the experience doesn't have to be perfect to be meaningful. You're reassuring them that you know how to handle those situations, and that makes your offer more attractive. Here's what happens when you keep talking about your offers and layering in this kind of storytelling. Instead of being the photographer who posts once and disappears, you become the photographer who feels reliable, trustworthy, and memorable. Your audience begins to understand what you do, why it matters, and why it's worth the investment. And that's what leads to bookings. So don't hold back. Don't convince yourself that one post is enough. It rarely is. Keep showing up. Keep sharing the value of what you do. Keep reminding people that these photos aren't just for today. They're for the future. They're for the moments when kids are grown and families look back and say, I'm so glad we did this. And that's the heart of it. Your job isn't just to sell sessions. Your job is to show people what's possible when they say yes. Your job is to remind them that photos are more than pixels. They're proof, they're memory, they're love frozen in time. And the more you tell that story, the more people will be ready to step into it with you. Selling is one of the hardest words for photographers to sit with. Most of us don't like how it sounds. We picture pushy salespeople. We think about pressure tactics or manipulation, and we say to ourselves, that's not me. I just want to take photos. But here's the shift I want you to make. Selling isn't about pressure. It isn't about tricking anyone. It isn't about talking someone into something they don't want. Selling, when done right, is simply about showing people the value of what you do and giving them a clear path to say yes. Think about when a family reaches out to you. They already want photos. They already know they need them. They may not know exactly what kind of session is best. They may not know how many images they need or what size album to order, but they want the outcome. When you guide them toward the option that fits, you're not tricking them, you're serving them. The same thing happens online. When you share your offers, you're not begging people to book. You're giving them a chance to imagine themselves in the experience. You're giving them an easy way to decide. That isn't pushy, that's clarity. I once had a client tell me, I felt so relieved when I saw your post. You made it simple. I didn't have to figure out what I needed. You explained it in a way that made sense. That's what happens when you talk about your work with confidence. Clients don't feel sold to, they feel cared for. Confidence is the part that changes everything. If you post with hesitation, if your words are shaky, if your energy says, I'm not sure this is worth it, your audience will feel that. Even if you never say it out loud, they'll pick up on it. But when you share with calm certainty, people lean in. They want to work with someone who knows the value of what they do. Confidence doesn't mean yelling about your prices. It doesn't mean bragging about your bookings. It means standing firm in the knowledge that what you provide matters. It means saying, here's what I offer, here's why it's valuable, here's how to book. That's it. Simple, steady, clear. I know it can be scary. Maybe you've worried before about what people will think when you share your pricing. Maybe you've had someone tell you you're too expensive. Maybe you've had posts flop and felt embarrassed. That happens to every single photographer. But here's what I've learned. The clients who disappear when you share your prices, they were never going to book anyway. The ones who stay are the ones who matter. They're the ones who respect your work. They're the ones who value what you do, and you need to keep reminding yourself of that. Every time you post about your sessions, you're not being pushy. You're being professional. You're showing people that your work has worth, and the more often you do that, the stronger your business becomes. There's another layer here too. Many photographers feel guilty about posting their offers multiple times. They think people are going to get annoyed, but the truth is, most of your audience isn't even seeing half of what you post. Algorithms mean that what feels repetitive to you often feels brand new to them. And even if they have seen it before, repetition builds recognition. That's how people remember you when they're ready. I've had clients book me after seeing the same type of post 6 or 7 times. They told me, I kept meaning to do it, and finally I couldn't ignore it anymore. If I had posted once and stopped, I never would have booked them. Persistence isn't annoying, it's professional. So, here's the mindset I want you to adopt. Selling is serving. Selling is guiding. Selling is giving your clients the chance to capture moments they'll never get back. You're not taking something from them, you're giving them something lasting. That is not sleazy. That is not selfish. That is a gift. When you embrace that, everything feels different. You stop dreading sales posts. You stop feeling awkward about mentioning your prices. You start to see it as part of the work. Because the work isn't just pressing the shutter. It's making sure people actually say yes to the experience. Without that, yes, the memories never get preserved. And if you're ready to keep practicing this skill, I've got resources to help. My Client Communication Starter Pack is completely free, and it gives you ready-to-use scripts you can start with right now. They'll help you find the words for those tricky conversations and give you more confidence in how you talk about your offers. And if you're ready to take it further, my Client Communication for Photographers course goes much deeper. It gives you full strategies, templates, and mindset shifts for building trust with clients at every step. You'll learn how to talk about pricing without panic, how to handle objections, and how to set boundaries that protect both you and your clients. You'll find the links in the description and in the show notes. Here's the truth. You don't have to fumble through this alone. You don't have to dread selling. You can learn to talk about your work in a way that feels genuine, natural, and even exciting. And once you do, selling won't feel like selling anymore. It'll feel like the most natural part of your job.